Greetings from Castle Goring, from Mickey, Aurora, and from me. Oh, I would love to be able to cuddle my baby bubbas forever. However, it would be rather too distracting, and therefore, without further ado, I am going to plunge right in. But before doing that, let me say, this episode is going to be hived off into two separate parts. The first part is going to cover customary matters about current and topical affairs. And the second part is going to deal exclusively with my settlement with the Mirror newspaper. And the reason why I am hiving them off is because my settlement against the Mirror could result in some possibilities of YouTube not liking the use of certain words that they used, that I'm afraid I have to repeat. And so to prevent any trouble, I am going to have part 1, then part 2. But it's the same episode effectively, and I therefore am going to be wearing the same clothes throughout it. Okay? Well, before even getting to the questions, I have to share a little joke with you. Did you hear what Harry and Meghan came up with? And the race mate par excellence, Doria. Grass is good. And the racist lies are even better. Did you hear what they've come up with? Their latest fantasy. And I'm going to quote a statement that they have put out. Last night, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Ms. Raglan were involved in a near catastrophic car chase at the hands of a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi. This relentless chase, lasting over 2 hours, resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and 2 NYPD officers. While being a public figure, just so wonderful and demure, even in my red dress. While being a public figure comes with a level of interest from the public, it should never come at the cost of anyone's safety. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope they have video footage of that 2-hour car chase, and this is not another Meganian and Heroldian fantasy like, do you remember Netflix? Oh, looking behind. Oh, yes, we're being chased. We're being chased. They're in the garage. There's no one behind them. They're being chased. 2 hours. But what I found interesting was New York's Mayor Eric Adams has effectively called them liars. Quite rightly so, too. He says, I don't think there are many of us who don't recall how his mom died. And in case anybody has forgotten, they're there to remind us on a daily basis. I thought that was a bit reckless and irresponsible. Then he adds, I would find it hard to believe that there was a 2-hour high-speed chase. But if it is 10 minutes, a 10-minute chase is extremely dangerous. Did the chase happen at all? Or was it orchestrated by the drama king and the drama queen? We're so in demand. Everybody just wants to chase after us, even though we have to pay good money to bots and other people to get us the attention that we otherwise will never get. I don't believe a word of it. Maybe I'm being cynical, but I don't believe a word of it. And I would like to see the footage first before I believe a word of it. Or maybe this is going to be buried the way the fetus was buried underneath a banyan tree. I have to say, I find Harry and Meghan truly disturbing and truly disturbed. And the lengths to which they will go to create drama and orchestrate and curate. Everything's got to be curated. Well, I've just kind of been I had the most wonderful night of my life, and it nearly ended in tragedy. Tragedy. H, we could have died just the way your mum died. I mean, cynical. I mean, it's just unbelievable, and I don't believe a word of it. I'm sorry, I don't. But without further ado, I am going to now revert to the questions. So, Vicky Nay says, and this is quite entertaining, I thought, one of many entertaining comments. Lady C, have you seen the hurt stress? That vulgar woman was a complete, utter disaster tonight. Tight, minimal strap sandals that showcased her bunions, white powder on her leg, and the front of her last season's dress, half off at Saks. Oh, I love it. Upturned seam at the waist, and copycat Catherine hairstyle. Well, we all know she has not an original bone in her body. Vulgarity on display. The dress itself, worn with the shoulder straps, is actually nice. I saw it first on an episode of the sitcom The Neighborhood, the episode where their son almost gets married. The character, Tina, wears this as her mother of the groom dress, and it looked really beautiful. I mean, this is so ghastly. Is she purposely trying to get designers to pay her to not, big block capitals, wear their clothes? Chairs from Canada. I love it. Well, I saw the dress. I know all about the occasion. Isn't it wonderful? 50 years of celebrating femininity. Sorry, feminism. My mouth slipped because we know that Meghan celebrates femininity as well as feminism, and the two coincide with each other because I don't know if you noticed in the speech she gave, she was very much about service. She was all about service, and she should remember, I'm royalty. I'm a royal, and I know all about service. Charity starts at home, and if you've got a man, you've got to service him the way a good mechanic services a car. Keep it ticking over. Clever girl. Mustn't give away the milk. No. Make sure that you charge for the milk and it fattens you up. but not enough that you look pregnant. And you notice I'm not pregnant, notwithstanding all that publicity that we got a few months ago when my people said I was 3 months pregnant. Well, I mean, I might have needed it after all. If I'd gone to the coronation, I would have needed to be pregnant. And then I'd have needed to have something over the pregnancy so that everybody could have seen that I am fecund and pregnant. Well, anyway, she gave this speech, a word salad speech, which bears no relationship whatsoever to the reality of her conduct. All about compassion and decency and all those things that going off her conduct are alien to her. But service, well, yeah, service, yeah. Got a service who we need to keep on side. Embarrassing, but I thought the dress fitted properly, miracle of miracles. And by fitting as well as it did, it shows that the woman has absolutely no figure at all. She is from the armpit to the hip. She's like dead straight. At least she covered those legs which she exposed the other day while going for sushi, because the legs the other day were, as they would say in Jamaica, a maga leg. They're maga bad, you see, because they are stick thin and shapeless with protuberances that almost match the protuberances of the barracuda smile. Because I don't know if you notice, her bottom lip in repose sticks out above her top lip. Interesting, that. Very interesting. One could say almost a deformity. But maybe that's why she smiles so much. Well, at least this time the legs were covered up. So it showed the feet, those ghastly feet. Now, I'm sorry. If you wear bad shoes, you deform your feet. Now, she rarely has ugly feet, and she evidently has a complex about them. But she's now reached the stage of grandeur that she doesn't need to have a complex about anything. It's certainly not those chicken foot. No. So she exposed them. Very bad look. But the rest of her, I thought, looked good. Yes, she has stolen Catherine's hairstyle, the way she steals everything else. And, Catherine wowed in a golden dress, so she's going to wow in a golden dress. And it never quite comes off, does it? It's just everything with her slightly misses. But at least the dress fitted properly. And I thought she looked as good as she could from the ankles up. Although I defer to your superior knowledge, you've seen the dress with straps. I thought there was something slightly off about the dress, and if it was designed to have straps and she's made it strapless, that could be what is off about it. But at least it fitted her properly. Miracle of miracles. The woman is ridiculous. All these paid awards, all these backhanders, all these, I'm going to wash your back and you're going to wash mine. I remember when I was young, people used to say that American PR had perfected the art of BS, and it really has. She's rebranding herself as an American royal. Remember, 1776 doesn't count for anything anymore. Why should it? You've got yourself your own royal queen. Well, at least Duchess. Lucky you. Do you think that she's going to be able to give sufficient service, public service, privately given service with a smile, that she's going to be made Queen of America at the same time that she's going to manage to get rid of the First Amendment? Somehow I don't see it happening. I think we're dealing in delusionalism of the highest order. But let's see if it works. She's certainly determined. She's getting the column inches. She gets people talking, so she gets attention. But I have to say, I could be very wrong, but I think once you've seen that somebody is lacking in substance, you then don't decide that they are admirable and that they're worthy of admiration. And unless you're awfully dumb, you don't want to follow them, because who wants to go to Hades? Meghan and Amy say, I hope my question can be answered by people in the know. So, he can't come back over a certain amount of nights, or else he will have to pay tax in the UK. However, he is claiming a domicile in the UK to remove the need to pay tax in the US. Can someone clear this up for me? Is this arse paying tax anywhere? Edited to add, I am referring to Harry. I knew you were, my dear. I knew you were. Well, no, they have figured out, because Meghan's very clever with money. Meghan's wily. Meghan's a very foxy number. And she will have had the very best financial advice on avoiding tax that it is possible to have. She's very sophisticated, where avoiding tax and saving herself, paying out tax the way the little people do. Remember? Leona Helmsley Mac too. Only the little people pay taxes, and I'm not little, I'm big. Don't believe me, just check out my feet. Chicken feet and that. Well, Harry needs to avoid paying tax in Britain, and to do that, he has to make himself non-resident tax-wise in this country. And there are various rules and regulations and time constraints with which he must abide, failing which he falls foul of the taxman. Now, clearly, Meghan has figured out that it is in her financial interest to move his tax status away from this country to the United States of America. There is a double taxation treaty between the two countries, so there is usually no repetition of paying twice It's the tax form of double jeopardy. However, if one system is more onerous than the other, you opt for the less onerous of the two. Yes, he will have to pay tax somewhere. To answer that, now Gail Ann says, get this straight. He demands birthright tax, funded security, and perks from the UK citizens while using his UK titles and refusing to pay UK tax. Shameless grifter. Gail Ann, you've got it about right. He is suing the state. Judgment has been reserved by Mr. Justice Fancourt in one of the actions. He is trundling along, trying to sue everybody. You know, he's married to Rachel Zane. Slap him once, slap him twice, slap him again. I'm just classy, and I am a ball-breaking witch with a B. That degree of aggressiveness makes for a very exciting but very disturbing life. That's right. And yes, he's trying to have it both ways. He would like to have his IPP status reinstated so that Americans will pay for his security when he's in the United States of America. And the British taxpayer will pay when he's in Britain. And of course, if they go to Botswana for 3 months, which he might do, I don't think Chickenfoot is going to take those chicken feet there for 3 months. I mean, all those ordinary people. I don't think so. No. I need class around me. I've got to be classy, and I need classy people, and I've got to see billionaires and multimillionaires reflected in front of my beautiful eyes on a daily basis. I can't be bothered and look at all those poor people. No, I've got to thrive. It's not enough to survive. I've got to thrive. Let them bother about survival. I'm going to bother about being rich. I think you've got the measure of the man. Blue Rose Berlin says, I read the tax rules in Britain and probably did not understand them. But my understanding is that if Harry did not have the non-resident tax status in the past 3 years, he can only stay in the UK for 16 days. There are all sorts of questions on this issue, and I am going to read out what my accounting expert has told me on this. And he has headed it up a few clarifications concerning Harry and UK tax. The UK tax rules as they apply to Harry's specific personal tax position, as far as the details can be deduced from information in the public domain, allow him to spend the following number of nights, not days, in the UK without risking his worldwide earnings from his book, interviews, and other personal earnings from what may be broadly called work, in quotes, being taxed in the UK at rates up to 47%, 62% for a small band of income. Now you see why he's so eager to be in Delaware, because they may be taking advantage of the need to have so many lavatories in Montecito, but they are rarely, their operations financially are based in Delaware, which is where you can depend on it. The money is housed and will remain sheltered. So, to continue. From the 6th of April 2020 to the 5th of April 2021, 15 nights depending on his use of accommodation available to him, whether Frogmore or elsewhere. From the 6th of April 2021 to the 5th of April 2022, 45 nights depending on his use of accommodation available to him, whether Frogmore or elsewhere. From the 6th of April 2022 to the 5th of April 2023, 90 nights depending on his use of accommodation available to him, whether Frogmore or elsewhere. From the 6th of April 2023 to the 5th of April 2024, 90 nights depending on his use of accommodation available to him. This test also requires Harry to work overseas at doing something. The 1 hour a week spent on the Archewell nonsense will not prejudice the count, nor will it count. The 1 hour announcement is probably made to ensure HMRC in the UK cannot attribute more than 1 hour to this non-productive activity and therefore jeopardize Harry's overseas tax position. Now you understand why they have been so eager to broadcast the 1 hour a week. It's to save them money. From the 6th of April 2024 to the 5th of April 2025, 90 nights. Rules as for 2023 and 2024. Then, the following year, April 25 to April 26, 90 nights. And from the 6th of April 2026, Harry is free to return to the UK full-time and not be taxed on his earnings from the 6th of April 2020 to the 5th of April 2026, either on income or capital gains from financial assets sold, transferred to him from trust, etc. The UK tax system runs from the 6th of April to the 5th of April. The US tax system runs from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. I hope this helps. Thank you very much, my lovely, wonderful, brilliant accountant friend. It helps. I hope that answers the question as comprehensively as it is possible for it to be answered. Carol Fernley says, Schofield and Willoughby have been thick as thieves for many years. I doubt she wasn't aware of his closet secrets. She's playing innocent, but I don't believe her. She's just trying to dig herself out of a hole. Carrie Fernley, I dislike Phillip Schofield, not only because he unjustly attacked me, but because he has shown himself to be the scum of the earth. To put it politely. Holly Willoughby, I personally have nothing against. You know, if you sup with the devil, you need to have a very long spoon. And she wasn't supping with the devil. She was cheek by jowl with him on a daily basis. Of course she knew he was a raging puff everybody else did. As Joan Collins said when he finally came out, words to the effect, well, why did he have to come out? Everybody knew he was gay. Well, he had to come out because the young man he had been mentoring and then things terminated was going to reveal that big butch Phillip Schofield was really secretly a queen, wanting to be a knight because his ambition was to be Sir Phillip Schofield. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But I know he antagonized the late Duke of Edinburgh when he did Philip on Philip. And the Duke of Edinburgh thought, what a jerk this guy is, and treated him accordingly. But he was so full of himself that he didn't realize that Philip was looking upon him with the greatest of scorn. Audrey MacLeod says, I can remember Fern Britton complaining about Phillip Schofield and no one listened. Yeah, he practically destroyed her career. And what Holly is doing is trying to preserve her career and avoid the taint. Also, she feels betrayed by him. He didn't even bother to inform her of the severity of the matter. And then, when it didn't work out the way he hoped, he dumped his brother ignominiously. I mean, you talk about a jerk. Kim Shattock says, I remember too, he virtually ended her career. Yeah, he did virtually end Fern Britton's career. He is a nasty, nasty piece of work. He does not deserve to have a platform. He does not deserve to be making money off abusing people behind the scenes and sometimes actively on television. He is not somebody who is fit to be a presenter. I think he should get a job doing something appropriate, like cleaning lavatories. Maybe he'd like to speak to Caroline McCall, Dame Caroline McCall, about getting a job in Montecito, because Harry and Meghan have a whole load of lavatories and they're as full of it as he is. And I don't know, I think he kept pretty busy cleaning out what they expel, and I suspect the three of them would get along famously, being the same type of person. Douglas Williams says, and he had a lot to do with Ruth and Eamon getting stopped filling in on this morning. Yes, Ruth and Eamon Holmes every Friday used to do this show. I appeared on it on more than one occasion with Ruth and Eamon, whom I like. They're really great. They're very professional. They allow their subject to actually speak without being defiled the way Phillip Schofield defiles many of his subjects. And he moved Eamon on. Why? I suspect because Eamon's a better interviewer and more likable than Phillip Schofield. And Phillip Schofield got worried that if he didn't get rid of Eamon might replace him. And of course, if Eamon and Ruth were still doing the Friday slot, it would be a very natural fit for them to just take over Phillip Schofield and Holly the Dolly. Well, I have nothing against Holly the Dolly personally. I mean, she had a job to do, and she did it as effectively as she could to stay in the job without being needlessly malicious. I mean, she wasn't malicious with me. She just made an ass of herself. And what's integrity? I mean, can you tell me what integrity is? I don't know what integrity is. I just like to know, what is integrity? I'm such a dolly. I'm a Holly the Dolly. I'm a dolly bird. And the reason why I can be Philip's sidekick is I'm such an idiot, when in fact she's anything but an idiot. But she wasn't nasty. He is a nasty piece of work, and I would love to see him stood down. And we will end with Michelle Law, who says, "Hello everyone." Hello, Michelle. The United States First Amendment allows for the freedom of religion, speech, press, the right to assemble, and the right to petition government about grievances. The short version: the US Constitution is not perfect, but very nearly so. I've written my congressman and senator about Harry and Meghan's views on free speech. Bonkers, they say. God bless everyone. And I've read this out because I think those of you who are motivated to do so could actually point out to your senators and your congressmen and women that you do not approve of public figures who are trying to get rid of the First Amendment. Having said that, and this is not a discussion for today, because remember, this is a two-part video and I don't want this to be too long. There is an elaborate process to alter the First Amendment. I don't think Meghan and Harry have a hope in hell of altering it in this life or the next. Thank God. And on that note, I will say, I hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, please remember to keep the questions and comments coming in. And part 2 follows immediately. But I have had to hive it off for cautionary reasons, just in case YouTube take exception to the use of words that were used against me by the Mirror. Okay? Thank you so much. God bless.